Hi, guys, and welcome back to the Decision Podcast. My guest spent 27 years in federal prison, and on paper, that might make you automatically judge who you think he is as a person. But the truth is, we are not the worst things we've ever done, and just because someone carries a label doesn't mean that they are that label. Today, we'll hear what led him to prison, what he endured, and who he became after. You'll realize there's so much more beneath the surface than what you think when you first consider someone that has been in federal prison. This conversation is raw, it's honest, and it's exactly why this podcast exists. Welcome again to the Decision Podcast. Hi, love.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you doing today?
I'm fine.
Good. So, what is the decision you made that changed the entire trajectory of your life?
Oh, you talking about once I was in prison, the decision that I made to change my life?
Yeah, that you would consider is a decision that changed your life.
I wasn't comfortable with where I was in life.
Okay.
And taking stock into what had put me there, because I'm big on, as far as accountability, my actions put me there. And even if some of my original charges, I was in the state first.
Okay.
And then while I was in the state, they pulled me to the feds. And then I got charged in the feds. Some of my state charges I did, some of them I didn't. But I feel like because of who I was, at that person that I was,
Yeah.
put me in that position.
Okay.
Like, if you're, I was a thug. I was in the streets. I was, the quintessential old dog minister society type. I was
okay.
one of them. And being that I was like that, I knew that that was the reason that I was there. And I never looked at prison as this isn't. Well, when you initially get locked up, everybody goes through this is some bullshit phase. Because you're not taking accountability for what you was doing out there. You always go through I shouldn't be here, the madness, and we try to blame white people for us.
Yeah.
Our actions. But like I said, my actions put me there. And I had to take stock in myself and really look into the mirror and realize that this isn't the way that I shouldn't live. This isn't the way that I shouldn't be. So I made strides to change myself. It didn't start that way. I was always getting in trouble. I was always going to the hole, had fights, fought with officers. I got an assault charge for assaulting an officer. But really, they were coming to attack me and my cellie, and that just happens in prison. And so I went through all of those phases, and then I went through the phase where I finally started avoiding trouble and avoiding people that wasn't like-minded. Once you start eliminating those factors, it became easier for me, and I finally got my case overturned. And I got back in court probably about 2019. I didn't get out until 2021. As a matter of fact, my 4-year anniversary coming up on the 29th when I was released.
Free.
Yes,
Okay.
this month.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
4 years. Okay, so you've been out for 4 years now.
Yeah, I've been out for 4 years.
Okay. Well, I'll say congratulations to that. Just
Thank
being out and like getting a second chance at life.
Yeah.
I think that a lot of our actions that we make, kind of like you said, once we accept that we take accountability, we serve our time. Once you serve your time, like you did it, now this is your chance to like live that life. And I think when it comes to us, when we hear people like when I said in the intro about 27 years, like what did you do? Like what was so wrong? Like what led you to that moment? So can I hear a little bit about like your childhood? 'Cause I know you said you were in the streets. What led you into the streets? Like everyone says like oh, you grew up in the hood or you didn't come from a 2-parent household. Like what was your story?
This is gonna ruffle some feathers, mainly my mother, because what put me in the streets, the first time I really like got a real taste of the streets, I caught my father cheating on my mother. And when I told her, she responded by not believing me and put me out. That's the first time I got into the streets. I got a taste of the streets. I wound up coming back to the house, but it was too late. It was too late. I was already like intrigued with street life
Okay.
by then. And it's just something that you become absorbed in. You start hanging around more, you start getting into more trouble, you start doing more things. It starts small. It starts small, hanging out, getting into fights. Then somebody will suggest a crime, and it'll start small, like probably how can I say, what would be stealing cars.
Okay.
That happened, stealing cars. Um, then started going into armed robbery. It was a lot that led, and I was violent, and because I grew up in a violent situation. I grew up in Brownsville, Brooklyn. If you know anything about Brownsville, Brooklyn, and hear anything about Brownsville, Brooklyn is like at that time like the most violent part of Brooklyn. If you ever heard anything about Brooklyn, about it being rough and so on and so forth, Brownsville was always considered the roughest section, and it's because in Brownsville, in a small area, you have a lot of projects.
Yeah.
So you have a lot of people clustered together, and you got 15 projects in a little space. And then everybody starts having their territories, and then it might be something to whereas, okay, I'm in Riverdale. If somebody from Riverdale gets into a fight with somebody from Tilden, we might have beef with the whole Tilden. So now that goes back and forth. And then it graduated to people carrying guns and people getting shot and so on and so forth. It's just a gradual progression. I got shot in the face when I was 16. That was because two girls of mine had a fight with another girl. Her brother showed up. He was grown. He was a man. And I approached him and was like, nah, you're not going to do anything to them. We could fight. He didn't want to fight. He pulled out a gun. He put it to my head. I smacked it away. I swung at him. He shot me in the face. And the bullet shattered my wisdom tooth and came out the side of my neck. And I lived through that. But touching on that, there's trauma attached to that. And people don't know that. Like PTSD. A lot of us suffer from PTSD, but we didn't know anything about it. I didn't know anything about it. I started studying that like towards the end of my bed, like around 2015, 2016, and it opened up a lot of things for me because it explained certain behaviors. Like you might be reacting to trauma and not realizing that that's a trauma reaction. You're thinking that this is your normal way of acting. This is your normal way of responding to things. But it's not. You're responding in a way a person that's traumatized would respond. But you don't see it that way. So that plays a lot into it. I got stabbed 4 times in my back when I was 17, a year later, by again, two grown men that had a beef with my cousin. And I lost a lung behind that. Both of my lungs had collapsed. They operated on one. They took one. Trauma attached to that. So it was a lot of things. So violence begets violence.
Yeah.
The violence that happened to me made me become more violent. So it was just a reaction to that. Like I started carrying a gun. I felt like if I'm gonna die out here in the streets, I'm taking somebody with me. And then now it's just a long road of negativity.
Yeah.
Because older guys see that. They see the younger guys, oh damn, he got a capacity for violence. Let me use him. Yeah, let me use him. Let me mold him and push him in this direction. So it all led to that. The crimes that took place that led me to the feds was a grenade attack at a drug spot in East New York. Those are my federal charges because it was a alleged group called the Moral Organization. I know I'm out. My other co-defendant Dave got out a little bit before me. The head of the indictment, from what I checked, he's still in there. He got an out date of 2049. I don't even know how he wound up getting a date because all of us had life sentences. I got my case overturned. And one of my co-defendants, he's still in there with a life sentence. But I know he got the same charges as me. He could be out here like me, but I don't think he was in the law library like I was. I studied my case, and when Trump came with the First Step Act, that eliminated a life sentence, a Supreme Court case eliminated my second life sentence. And then, no, the Supreme Court case eliminated the 50 years that was on the back for the grenade. And then I found out, and it just so happened I was in the right prison to find this out. A guy let me know that I had an illegal sentence for the murder in aid of racketeering because a drug dealer was killed on my case. And once that overturned and I got back into court, the judge had to decide whether she wanted to let me out or not.
Yeah.
So what I do give my lawyer, because I asked for a lawyer and they gave me a lawyer, he made a great job of humanizing me. Like he showed that I had published a novel while I was in prison. He showed that even though I started off catching incident reports, fighting, and so on and so forth, like the last 10 years, I didn't have an incident report. And he showed that, and she looked at my educational transcripts, going to classes and taking courses and so on and so forth. And she put all of that together, and because technically she didn't have to change it. But also in a technical sense, she was able to change it.
Yeah.
So she turned my sentence around and I was released.
That's great. Well, that's amazing in general, I think, and also shows like you should learn a little bit about like your kids, because you said like your co-defenders, what'd you call them? How
Yeah,
they
call them co-defendants.
Okay, co-defendants. So
yeah.
people that were also like, I guess, on the same case as you.
Yes.
Okay, so they like all of them are still incarcerated, you're saying?
No, except I told one of them came out.
One of them came out.
That's
okay.
the leader's brother.
Okay.
He's out.
Gotcha.
I don't know how he got out. I don't know where he at, but I
Yeah.
know that he's out because I checked. I went on one of my co-defendants. He committed suicide.
Oh wow. Okay.
And yeah, back in like probably about 2010. And there were 12 other co-defendants, but they were all snitches. So they all they all cooperated with the government. Some of them they got less time. Like some of them got 10 years, some of them got 15 years because it wasn't their first time being in prison.
So what exactly, because I know you mentioned that your mother kicked you out. So everything that went down, when you were living in your mother's house, were you still involved in these things, like in the streets activity, or was this all after because it was based off survival?
No. I was dabbling in the street once I got back in the house.
Okay.
And then I finally just left the house.
So even while when you were living at home before your mother kicked you out, were you involved in anything, or were you just like
before my mother came? No.
So it all was just okay.
Yeah.
So when she kicked you out, were you like with family members? My
aunt. That's where the attachment came from. My aunt lived in Riverdale Projects.
Okay. Oh.
And that was my attachment to all of the guys from Riverdale.
Gotcha.
And that led in that direction. Gotcha. Yeah, I started hanging around with them, and that snowballed.
Yeah. So when you were like you were stabbed, you were shot in the face, all these things, did you have any familial support telling you like you need to stay out of the streets?
Not really. Like for some odd reason, like black people just like roll with everything. Like roll with the punches. I had one heart-to-heart talk with my uncle that passed away, rest in peace, while I was locked up. He came up to New York and he was visiting me and my other cousin, rest in peace, who died. And he was like, he said, "Are y'all really ready to die over this stuff?" And my cousin answered first. He was like, "Yeah." And I basically just went off of his answer. It was something that I never really thought of or considered. And I just basically went with his answer. But nah, you really didn't have that. At one point, I tried to move down south with my grandmother. She didn't want me to come down there because she said in Macon, Macon was getting bad. She said it was full of gangs and drugs. And she was like, if I come down there, it'd be the same thing. But I don't think it would have been because she owned a restaurant. H&H restaurant, and I would have had a place to just go there and work. And it would have changed my environment. Like it changed my social circles, so on and so forth. But that never happened. That never materialized. My father was in prison, in and out most of the time when I was a kid. But me and him got to make amends. I got to spend some time with him because he died almost a year after I came home.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
Sorry to hear that.
but me and him, but we got to we got to at least we got to make amends and spend some time together.
Yeah.
So I was really grateful for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good. At least I think like before, you
Yeah.
guys were never. Yeah, I think because you probably had. Was that something? Was that like traumatic? Your father being in prison for all those years?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you want that presence there.
Yeah.
See, now I got to go into something else. And I don't really like talking about this, but I have to talk about it because it's leaving a gap. I was molested by my mother's boyfriend when I first moved to New York. When we first moved to New York, that's when I was like about 4. That lasted for months until we finally moved in with my aunt, and then we moved somewhere else. And that sort of twisted the relationship with my mother
Okay.
because he used to tell me, your mother don't love you, your mother don't want you, she don't want you there, you should have never been born. And stuff like that sticks in your head. So I used to like scrutinize my mother through what he told me. So that made our relationship strained because she wouldn't really realize where it was coming from.
Yeah.
But there was a part of me that felt like you knew something was going on, even if you didn't know exactly what was going on. Like, and I feel like people turn blind eyes to things like that.
Yeah.
But you knew something was going on. You just didn't know exactly what was going on. And stuff like that is internal and it affects your decision making, so on and so forth.
Yeah.
So it was a lot of external things that pushed me towards what I started doing. But like I said, I had to take stock in myself because I feel like the energy that I put into being the gangster that I became, I could have put it into. I could have just left New York and went somewhere and started over.
Yeah.
Because I got a good work ethic. I got a head on my shoulders. I'm not dumb. Like I said, I wrote a book.
Yeah.
I wrote a novel. So I had that. I could have used it. So I look at it in that respect.
Yeah.
I put it on me. I put the onus on me. So that helped me change.
Yeah.
When I came home, it wasn't really hard for me to, how could you say, readjust to free society. Because I had a good support system. I got my mother, my brother, my cousin, my sister, so on and so forth. And then I started dating and I met my girlfriend that I got right now. And it's just a lot. Like, I had a lot of external factors that fell in place for me. And I came home working immediately. Like, I came home Wednesday, I started working Sunday, and I've been working ever since.
Wow. Well, just to say, I want to say I'm sorry that even
Yeah.
happened to you as a
Yeah.
child.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of, unfortunately, it's pretty prevalent in a lot of households that
Yes.
children have suffered with molestation and
Yes.
assault. So I just want to say like that's not okay. And even I've heard it because on with prior guests talking about they knew that their parents they were aware of it to some extent when there were things that have happened to them when they were children. But I do think that's what it takes, like a parent to step into those situations and make sure that their child is being protected.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry that you didn't feel protected at that moment. But like you said, you give grace to your mother now because you still have you have a good relationship with her now. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. But so where we are now, because I know you mentioned about your childhood and you were kicked out and all the things that happened that led you to ending up in federal prison.
Yeah.
What exactly were your charges? I know you mentioned there was like a grenade incident. Like what were you
The
charged
exact
with?
charges
Yeah.
was, okay, I wasn't charged with the racketeering
Okay.
or the racketeering conspiracy, but I was charged with the subsequent acts. Arson,
Okay.
using and carrying a destructive device, using and carrying a firearm, murder and aid of racketeering, conspiracy to commit murder and aid of racketeering. It was a couple of conspiracy to murders and aid of racketeering, but some of those charges were dropped.
Okay.
And then the narcotics distribution conspiracy, which they were basically saying, they said I didn't sell any drugs, but they said that the actions that I took with the gang supported their activities. So that's where the narcotics distribution conspiracy came in at.
Okay. So when you were arrested,
Mhm.
what was your thought process like? I know you said you were like, this is BS.
Oh yeah, like I said, when I initially arrested, we was in the state. I was in the state.
Okay.
I had 2 armed robberies and a gun charge.
Okay.
One of the armed robberies was bogus and didn't even happen. One was another armed robbery and an open gun charge that I had from before.
Oh,
It was
wow.
just 3
Okay.
cases put together.
Okay.
I had pled guilty to all 3 of them. One was a special plea called an Alfred plea because I wasn't going to plead guilty to it. I was like, this didn't happen. This is some bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like, wait, we gotta. The judge really looked into it, and he was like, if he's willing to, because I was willing to take all 3 cases to trial, just not to plead guilty to that. The judge said something's wrong, so he was like, there's a special plea. It's called an Alfred plea. Most judges don't let you take it. That's how I keep trying to explain about Gunner. That was his plea. An Alfred plea is a plea where you're saying, I'm pleading guilty not because I'm guilty, but because I don't want to take a chance on taking this to trial.
Okay.
And you leave that open like that.
Okay.
Because a lot of times when you plead guilty, you have to allocate.
Mm-hmm.
Allocation means I have to admit my guilt, say what I did, and put it on the record that this is what I did and this is why I'm pleading guilty, so on and so forth. Or a judge won't accept your guilty plea.
Okay.
You have to do that. So the Alfred plea is a special plea for that. While I was doing time for that, I say about a year and a half into it, the feds came. They pulled me out of the state jail that I was in and brought me to the feds and charged me. And that began. We went to trial. We was on trial for 3 months.
Okay.
And we lost trial. I went back to the state to finish my state time, and then I went back to the feds and was there until I came home.
Okay, gotcha. So what was your first day in federal prison like?
My first day in federal prison, well, being that I was going from prison to another prison,
is there,
it wasn't really shocking for me. Like, it wasn't really shocking for me. For me, it was like, let me see what this is about. That's how you walk into the door.
Okay.
Like, let me see what this is about. Because the state really is, I'm not going to say it's rougher than the feds, because the feds I've seen is more deadlier than the prison. But state prison is a lot more, I'm trying to say, brutal in the sense of it's a lot of fights. It's a lot of violence, but it's not. In the feds, when violence happens, it's major. In the state, it's a lot of little incidents.
So it's like little incidents that are happening.
That constantly
So you have to be
constantly
constant edge.
That constantly happens. So walking into the feds, it's really like a little, somewhat of a relief. I don't have to be on edge 24/7 the way I would be on the state. The way it's always something going on. People, you looking at somebody might not like you for nothing.
Yeah.
In the feds, it's a little different because it's so group oriented, and they have a lot of rules amongst the prisoners to try to keep things at bay, especially in the pens. The higher you go up, the more deadly it is, so the more rules and so on and so forth. So when I walked in, it wasn't really nothing to me. I just wanted to see what it was about because I was in MCC first. That's where they keep you while you're going to court. There was really no violence there. I don't even remember there being a fight in MCC. Okay. But that's because you're waiting to go to court. So people are basically trying to stay out of trouble. People are basically people are basically trying to stay out of trouble because that can affect your sentence. And dudes know that it can affect your sentence. Okay. It can affect your case. You can get charged. That's where they really like to charge you at if you get into some trouble. Like, I could go to, like, once you're doing your time and you're in jail, you might get caught with a weapon and you might just go to the SHU for 30 or 60 days. In MCC, if you get caught with a weapon, being that you're already down there, they're liable to, let's give him a charge and give him 5 more years. Okay. So it's a little bit more.
People are more cautious about the decisions that they're making.
Exactly.
Not as erratic. Okay,
yes,
I got
exactly.
you. Okay. So can you walk us through, because I'm sure people are curious, what was day-to-day life like?
Where, when MCC or in the pen?
I guess I'll say where you were the longest. You were in federal prison the longest, correct?
Penitentiaries.
Yeah. So because that was where you spent the most time. So what was a day like that in?
Well, I'm gonna take you to like the most dangerous penitentiary that I was in. That was USP Pollard. Now there, you sort of had to be on edge. I slept with a weapon in Pollard because that's how dangerous it was. That, like, at one point we had, I think, like 11 murders in 18 months. which is a high volume, especially like in that area, like it raised the murder rate for that area, and the warden was complaining because he was saying people would come up to him on the streets like, what is going on in that jail? Because they would hear about it on the news, stuff that would happen there.
Yeah.
And at it's so group, like I said, everything is group oriented. You got the Crips, you got the Bloods, you got the GDs, the Vice Lords, the Latin Kings. Then you got the Mexican gang. No, then you got the Nietas. Then you got the Mexican gangs, the MS-13, the Norteños, the Sereños. A new group popped up called the Paisas. Then you had the white gangs, either the Aryan Brotherhood, and they're split because you got the Aryan Brotherhood from out of California, but then you have a Aryan Brotherhood sect from out of Texas. They call themselves ABTs, but they don't get along. They can't be in the same prison together. Then you have the Dirty White Boys, and then a new gang had came up around 2006 called the Aryan Circle, and then you had they called them they call people like us neutrals because we don't have any gang affiliations, but you have state affiliations. Like I was with the New York group, and everybody in my group was from New York. But in Pollock, it was New York. It was really the East Coast. It was New York, New Jersey, Boston. Dudes from Philly that wasn't Muslim, because then the Muslims have their own group, and amongst them, and the only way you can get away from any of the groups, like to be totally solo for yourself, a lot of guys are usually Christians, if you claim Christians.
Okay.
And because they
like
allow
the religion.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's the only thing. That's the only thing where a gang member could step away really from their gangs, and it's to get with the Christians. Or if they get to the jail and they immediately say, "I'm not with my gang. I'm gonna be with the guys that I like." If he's from St. Louis, I want to be with the St. Louis guys. You have to let that be known from the time that you come through the door who you're gonna be with.
Oh, so my question for you is, do you have to come through the door with that? It's so I know you said the Christians. Well, the Christians like just not touched. Like, how do you pick which gang you're in? Like, what, or like you want to be solo? Like,
some people are already gang members before they get get there.
Yeah.
So if I'm a Crip when I get there, I have a choice of, as soon as I come through the door, being with the guys from my state or being with the Crips. But I have to let it be known from the time that I come through the door.
Okay.
And it's sometimes you're allowed to switch over once you're there, but it's kind of hard. They want to know from the time that you come through the door who you being with. What group you gonna be with? You gonna be with the Louisiana guys if you from Louisiana, or you gonna be with your gang if you from a gang? Like I said, it's real group oriented. And me, when I come through the door, I'm neutral, and I let them know I'm neutral. But where I'm from New York. Okay, so the New York guys approach me. Yo, what's up? What's going on with you? You good? You straight? Yeah, I got my paperwork.
Yeah.
You have to show your paperwork to let them know that you're not a rat.
Oh, okay. So it's okay to, like, I thought there was, because I watched like shows, so I thought like you don't tell people what you're in for.
Oh, nah, you have to.
Really? Yeah. So who is that you're telling? You're telling like all your
like me. I was a paperwork reader. Like if you come to the jail, and you're in the East Coast car.
Yeah.
There are certain guys in the car that read paperwork. Like we're the guys that know law. Like me, I used to be in the law library. It'd be my man Jimmy that used to be in the law library. It has to be somebody that knows how to read paperwork. You would have to bring your paperwork to me.
And how do you get the paperwork? How do they get it?
Okay. You can order it. You have to get your docket sheet or something of that nature. Your docket sheet, your sentencing transcript, which people really want to see, your sentencing transcript, and I'll read through it, and I could tell if you tried to make a deal with the government or not, and so on and so forth. If you did, you got a bad day coming. So they know not to come. They know not to be out there. Some guys try to slip through. So what they would do is you would join the Muslims. The Muslims don't check paperwork.
Okay. And when you say a bad day coming, that means like an
Yeah, you're
altercation
gonna
is gonna
get
happen.
hurt. Yeah, you're gonna get hurt.
Oh, and it's just like in all of this, are the guards a part of this? Are the guards
The guards in places like that, they really let us run the jail.
Yeah, I was like, it sounds like the inmates are running everything.
Yeah, they really let us run the jail because it gets complicated when they try to do it, because it's gonna happen regardless. So what they'll probably do is be like, look, just don't kill him. Or they'll be like, look, if y'all, like at one point they was like, look, if y'all stop stabbing people, we'll make it our business to get you out of the shoe once you get locked up. So those would just basically just assault somebody if they needed to. Or we would take belts and put locks on them. You can use that on somebody. They just wanted to refrain from the knives because a lot of people, like I said, people were dying. There was a double homicide one time. This was weird because dude, he was just, that's another thing in prison, the mental health thing. They allowed people with mental health problems to just walk to jail. And he happened to be from DC. And he killed a white dude. Just ran up on him, stabbed him in the neck and killed him. Then he ran and tackled his cellie and started stabbing him. The white dude calls out to another white guy to help. He tells him, get up, go get him too. I'm going to kill him too. And he goes stand in front of the shower and wait for the white guy to come back. The white guy comes back with 2 knives. And they get to trying to hurt each other in front of the shower. The DC dude, he slips, falls. The white guy gets on top of him, starts stabbing him. Killed him. A Muslim dude that just came out of nowhere hit the white guy with a broom. The COs come, they lock up the white guy. While they're taking him to SHU, to the segregated housing unit, they're also bringing the DC guy out because at that point he was still alive.
Yeah.
They running him across the compound on a stretcher. So one of the DC guys look outside and see them carrying his friend. And he said, that's my homie. At the same time, they're bringing the white guy through the hallway in front of the mess hall. Now, nobody know if this is true. I think Pistol Pete was just starting something. Pistol Pete said he heard the white guy say, I just killed me a nigger. That was it. The black dudes told the DC dude, look, all you got to do is take off on one of them and we got you. One of the white guys went to go put his tray up because they don't know what's going on. The DC dude knocked him out. And they just rushed all the white guys in the mess hall. So a riot popped off in the mess hall. I'm in the unit. I'm watching TV. And KV, he's a Latin king, but he's black. He's from Chicago. He walked up to me and was like, yo, I think he said you got your knife on you? I was like, yeah, well, what's up? What's going on? He was like, yo, I think it's a race war going on. I said, what? He was like, yeah, man. He was like, look, a bunch of white guys came in, they all bleeding and stuff and running up to their cells. And PT ran over, he was a Crip. And he was like, yo, yeah. He said something happened up at that mess hall. Now, what we didn't know was what the police did, they couldn't stop the riot. So what they did was they opened up the doors and told all the white guys, come out the mess hall. And when they all ran out, they slammed the doors and locked the doors and locked all the black dudes in. So they were able to come out and run to their units. But nobody know what's going on. Nobody know what's going on. Like one guy, he was running the track. They say a bunch of white guys jumped on him. A black dude was running the track. He didn't know what was going on. They jumped him on their way back to the units, and they all ran. Because when they came in, they all went to one cell. And I guess to like strategize what they needed to do.
Yeah.
But by then, now the police responded and they locking the jail down. And they locked us all down. That's another thing. When we get locked down, we might be locked down. For that, we was locked down just for 2 weeks. But the first couple of days, you don't get no showers. You don't come out. They don't do nothing. They don't do anything. They just bring trays to your cell, and you basically trying to figure out what they're planning on doing. And you might ask some of the police, "Hey, yo, man, what y'all planning on doing? Y'all gonna let us out?" CO was like, "Man, I don't think y'all coming out for a minute. We need to see what's going on." So now, when they do run the showers, they run just blacks to the shower, and then they'll run the whites to the shower, and they'll run the Spanish dudes with the white dudes. And what they did was they let some white dudes on one yard, and there are gates to separate the yard, and then they let a bunch of us out on another yard so we can come to the gates and talk. And we sort of hashed it out and squashed it because the white guy was like, "Look, y'all lost somebody, we lost somebody, we didn't start it. We could just leave it like this."
Okay.
And that's how that it'd be situations like that. Like, you have to let the prisoners hash that out. Like, there was no way for administration to fix that. We got to fix that.
In this, well, for one, during lockdown, everybody's lockdown. It's white and black?
Everybody.
Okay.
Everybody.
So did you see? 'Cause I know you said like they opened the doors for all of the white inmates to like get put inside their cells.
No. Okay, you got the mess hall. The mess hall is closed off from everybody, and they were getting jumped in the mess hall by all the black.
Oh yes. Okay.
The fight started in there.
Yeah.
So they can't break it up.
So that was their way of separating.
That was the way of separating them, letting them out. And once they came out, they locked the doors.
Gotcha.
Locked the doors again, just to lock everybody inside the mess hall. And they let the white guys go back to their respective units. Because you got 12 units. Boxes, 2 top, 2 bottom, 2 top, 2 bottom, 2 top, 2 bottom, like that. Spread up. So they split off and go back to their units. Because in the morning, when they call units for breakfast, by time they done let all of the units go, some guys done came back, some guys done ate, but at that point in time, it was a cluster of them in there.
Gotcha.
And that's what transferred with them.
Okay. Did you feel like there was ever, because I know you had some communication with the guards and the police officers that were in the facility. Did you feel like there was like preference over, were they kinder to white inmates versus black? Did you see any of that, like racial bias?
If you're in a prison that was predominantly like some prisons is like damn near all white officers.
Okay.
And you'll see that.
Okay.
So, like, for instance, I'm going to give you the SMOO program. When they turned Lewisburg into the SMOO program, Lewisburg was always known for having racist officers.
Okay.
I'm going to give you 2 incidents. Some white guys jump another white guy in a cage. I mean, and supposedly they're saying they beat him because he dealt with a lot of blacks. These were racist white guys. Okay. They jumped him. It was 5 on, was it, how many right at that time? 6. Okay. It was 5 on 1. They came, they ran in, they ran to the cage, they told all of them to separate. And that was it. Now you got 2 black guys fighting in a cage and 2 black guys that don't have nothing to do with it. When the officers come, the 2 black guys that don't have anything to do with the fight, they get on the ground. The lieutenant walks up with the pepper spray and sprays one of them on the ground. That doesn't have anything to do with it. Another lieutenant comes up with a pepper ball gun. It's like a paintball gun.
Okay.
But it uses pepper ball rounds. They hurt. They leave bruises probably about yay big. He starts shooting the other guy on the ground. And then they sprayed the 2 fighters. But look at how they dealt with this situation as opposed to
with the white.
It's like that.
And okay, so you there were instances depending on the facility that you were in.
Exactly.
Okay.
Because like Pollock, it was like half and half. It was a lot of black staff.
Yeah.
A lot of white staff. It was like even. So it wasn't really that bad. That bad.
Yeah. So from just our brief conversation, it sounded like there was like a ton of violence.
Yeah.
In your time doing your time in various facilities.
Yeah.
Did you ever have a moment where you felt like you weren't going to make it out?
You have moments. Well, I never had a moment where I felt like I was going to die. I had a moment. You have moments where you feel like I might have to kill somebody and I'm not going to make it out of here.
Mm.
Because it's not going to matter if I overturn my case, if I have another sentence to deal with. That was always my biggest fear. Like, okay, I finally get my case overturned, but now I have another sentence to deal with on the back of it. Because that happens to people sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I knew a guy, he had 3 months left to go home, and he killed somebody and wound up getting 24 extra years.
Mm.
Another guy, he had 3 years left to go home. He wound up killing somebody and got 18 more years. Stuff like that happens.
Okay. And while you were there, what were things that you did or other people did to stay, I guess, sane, entertained? Like what?
You
How
read,
yeah.
you read. Some people play sports. They got basketball,
Okay.
handball. Um, they'll have baseball season, football season where they
Mhm.
allow football teams because they do flag football
Okay.
and stuff like that. Like I said, read, go to the law library. They got regular library books at the
Mhm.
law library because they have a library. Then they have some. I can't say education is the way that it should be, but they try to have some educational courses.
Mhm.
They try to have some educational courses. You're better off acquiring your own that you can get through the mail
Yeah.
and so on and so forth. Watch TV, write. Like I said, I got to the point where I started writing a book. I wrote
Oh,
a
you
couple
wrote it.
I wrote a couple of books, but I haven't really dealt with them since I've been out
Okay.
because I've been working so crazy. It's not really the time.
Mm.
I don't really have the time frame for it, and basically those are the things that you have left to do. Like, so you got guys, a lot of guys that can't read, so that's an avenue that they
Really?
can't utilize.
In prison that
Yeah,
can't read?
that can't read, that actually can't read.
Wow. It honestly just kind of brings me to like the whole conversation of that prison can be seen as like modern day slavery because that's like something that we hear in like enslaved
Yeah.
people. They couldn't read or write.
Yeah.
That's very interesting you say that because I would never think in 2025 or even before then because you were
Yeah.
it was like what year did you got it was
1993.
93.
Yeah, the end of the 90s.
Yeah, but even in the like the 90s like people didn't know how to read while they were that's wow.
Yeah.
That's shocking.
Adults.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That says a lot about where they come from and like their story and yeah, how they ended up where they are. Yeah. So did you have any, because 93, how old were you when you?
I was 19.
19.
I just turned 19.
Okay.
I just turned 19 in October, got locked up that December, and then
Okay.
I was going to.
Did you have any children at that time?
Yeah, I got a son.
Yeah. Okay. And you
Yeah,
just have one
I have
now?
an adult son, yeah.
Okay. Did he visit you or any family members
Yeah,
visit you?
my son's mother used to bring him up to come see me
Okay,
from
so-
time to time, and then that fell off.
Mm.
Yeah.
Do you have a relationship with him today?
No, he's very isolated. He's very isolated. He says he loves me, but he's just very isolated. His mother says like, "Yo, that's just the way he is." He's like that with who you would consider close family members. Like
Okay.
he doesn't really keep in contact with them, so on and so forth,
Mhm.
until something pops up, and I was like, that's not how you treat people. That's not how you treat people. You don't
Mhm.
just come to people when you need them, because he did that with my mother, and I didn't like that. And I was like, you don't keep in contact with your mother, but you keep in contact with her when you need something from her. That's not how you do a relationship. But he's all right. He's okay. He's a square. He works. He isn't into
Okay.
anything.
He's not into. Do you think his own childhood and maybe possible traumas, like with you being incarcerated, is why he is how he is today?
Probably. I
Yeah.
could possibly go with that.
Did he have a father figure outside of like that was in the?
Not really.
No.
Not like a figure that was a fixture that was there. No.
Okay.
No.
And your mother, I know you mentioned that you guys had a kind of like a rocky relationship. Did she visit you while you were incarcerated
Yeah.
all those years?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
did you guys rebuild that relationship like while you were?
Yeah. We me and my mother always stayed in contact. Like
Okay.
I would call her. She would come visit when I got down here at the USP Atlanta. That's where I ended off at.
Mhm.
I did like my last 5 years in USP Atlanta,
Mm.
so I was closer to here, and that's when I started getting a lot more visits. Like my brother, my sister, my cousin,
Okay.
my mother, so on and so forth.
Yeah. And how old was your son when you got
He was born a couple of months after I got locked.
Oh, he was okay. So
Yeah,
he
he was
oh, so
born.
you
Yeah, he was born in January.
in
I got locked
January.
up that December. He was born in January.
Oh wow. So you never like got a chance to like hold him as a newborn and
Not as a newborn, but I held him on a visit as a baby, and
yeah.
so on and so forth.
And so how do you think you being incarcerated impacted your family as a whole? Is that something that's common in your family, or were you like the first?
Yeah, as far as like you talking about my immediate family,
Your immediate
yes, my
family.
immediate
Yeah.
family, yes, yes. I was the oldest. I'm the oldest. I was the first son,
Mm.
and then you have my brother and my sister.
And how were they impacted by you being away?
Me just not being there because my sister she was a baby when I went,
Mm.
and my brother he was a toddler. He was a toddler, and I used to take care of him until up until that time.
Okay.
So me and him, all right. We got a real good relationship. Me and my sister, we're all right, but we're not as close as we should be. But we're cool.
Was there ever a visit with one of them, or I don't know? I know sometimes people have strangers that come visit them as well, but was there ever a visit that really stuck with you to this day, where you were like, it just really impacted you?
A visit?
Mm-hmm.
Mm, I can't really say,
Okay.
but one of my favorite visits was
Mm-hmm.
when everybody had came down to Pollock, and it was right around the time when Obama was
Oh,
about
inaugurated.
not
When
inaugurated.
he won.
No, this is right before then.
Okay.
And we were basically talking like, what do you think his chances are on winning, and so on and so forth? Because I didn't know anything about Obama.
Yeah.
To me, he came out of nowhere, and we were talking about him. And my stepfather, rest in peace, he was real optimistic. He was like, "Yeah, I think I like him, and so on and so forth." I just remember that visit. That was a
That was a good one.
that was a really good visit.
Yeah.
Everybody was there, and that was the first time I had seen my sister in a while.
Mm.
That was my first time I had seen my sister in a while. I had seen my mother and my stepfather, but this was the first time she had brought all of them, my brother and my sister, and all of us were on there together.
I love how everybody has like a very key memory of when Obama, like during his presidential, like when
Exactly.
he was like going on tour, like trying to like,
Exactly.
win. Yeah, because I was little, I was like 7, but I remember like how excited my family was.
Oh,
in
the
that moment.
COs or the white COs?
Oh, they were angry.
Were they?
That's
Yes,
insane.
yes, you seen it. Like
Wow.
you seen it. They would make little slick remarks and concerning him. Why don't you ask your president? That used to be their response to a lot of stuff.
Mm.
Yeah.
So yeah. So do you think that prisons, do they purposely pick racist COs in some cases?
I can't say that they pick racist COs. I think you have racist COs that go to be officers.
Yeah.
And like in a lot of places, it becomes a family thing. Like you might be in a jail. It's in, like I said, Lewisburg, Pennsylvania. They might have her cousin is a CO, the uncle is a CO, the niece is a CO, and so on.
So it's
and
like
so
a
forth.
familiar. Yeah, that is true.
Because it's a small town, and that jail actually supports that town. So a lot of them work there.
And that's why the whole concept of like modern day slavery, because it is literally like a family lineage of them
Exactly.
being taught the same thing, and they get the power and
Exactly.
yeah. So you were released in 2019.
Yeah.
What?
No,
what,
2020.
2020.
2021.
2021.
Yeah, 2021.
Okay.
Like I said, this is my 4th-year anniversary.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, okay.
So what was your first day of freedom like?
Oh, my first day of freedom was for me, it was amazing. Like, because it was the build up of me coming out. And I was sitting inside of USP Atlanta. They had messed up my ticket because they wanted to try to send me to New York. And I'm like, nah, my judge said I have to stay down here with my mother for 6 months. And I said, that's in my court order. But they said, well, we messed it up anyway, which is Atlanta, everything is slow because it's ran by nothing but blacks. Everything is done. Everything is, if it's supposed to be done at 8 o'clock, it's not going to be done till 12. Stuff like that. And so they had messed that up. So I'm calling. They was like, man, you ain't got nobody that can come pick you up? I'm like, yeah. I start calling. My brother was at work. My cousin was at work. My mother, she was off. And she came and picked me up. She was like, come pick, I was like, yeah, come pick me up today. They let me out today. And when I came out, she was the first person I saw. And I came, I hugged her, I put myself in the car. We went to Walmart. That's the first place we went. Yeah, went to Walmart because I had to get some underwear, socks, and
Yeah.
I wanted to get some vitamins and stuff. Yeah.
And what was the age difference? So you went in at night. So maybe that's where
I went in at 19. I went in at
19,
19. I
and you
came
got
out
out
46.
46 years old.
Yeah.
So you didn't, because I know they take.
Well, 45 going into 46.
45. Okay. So what clothes did you have when you got released?
I had some gray sweatpants, a gray T-shirt, and sneakers.
And that was given by the prison, or
no? Those are mines from in the jail that I.
Oh, okay, okay, the last one. Okay.
Yeah, because they sell sweatsuits.
Yeah.
In the federal prison, they sell, like you'll always see dudes in gray sweatsuits. They sell gray sweatsuits, shirts, shorts, sneakers. They sell stuff like that. So,
okay, so that was like some of what you had.
Exactly.
Okay. What was most shocking coming into the world? Was it like coming back into like everyday life? Was it technology, the way people acted?
See, I had a phone in prison. So,
okay.
So I wasn't really like that blew me away when I first used it in there. But coming home, I was already accustomed to the phone. But what I wasn't accustomed to was like seeing self checkout.
Yeah.
That threw me off. Seeing self, I said, damn. I said, they just want all their stuff stolen, huh? And my mother started laughing. She was like, nah, this is a regular thing. She's like, they got cameras to watch you and so on and so forth. And when I went to pay for my stuff, and because they give you a debit card for your money that you got on your prison account, and when I went to pay for my stuff, I didn't know what to do with it.
Oh, like the chip and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, but I didn't know about inserting
it. Tap.
I was looking at it and I was like, what I do? Do I swipe it on the side? My mother started laughing because the lady at the counter, the lady that was doing, she was looking. She was like, what's wrong with him? Because I was like, what I do with it? I said, oh, okay. I go right there. And I pushed it up in the bottom. And that was new to me. And then the cars are really just cars that look a little bit different.
Yeah.
Except for now you see like the Teslas and you're learning about the automated driving cars and so on and so forth. But it's really, how can I say? And the dude said it right. You're overwhelmed by the variety of everything. The variety of everything now. Like all these different places and all these different items and so that's really like the biggest thing. Like I said, going to Walmart was like, wow, that was like my favorite spot for a long time because you could go there and get anything
you need. Yeah.
Exactly.
And you now are on TikTok, and that's how I found you. You're like a TikTok star at this point.
Yeah.
And you make content kind of like trying out like different things about
people seem to like that. So
yeah,
I've been doing what they've been asking me, try this because when I came out, I stuck with the usual Burger King, Wendy's, McDonald's.
Yeah.
But people was like, yo, you ain't tried Five Guys? I was like, Five Guys. You ain't tried Culver's? And I'm like, I've rolled past Culver's, but I never tried it. Like somebody just told me about Texas Roadhouse. I drive, now I see it because I drive a route and I'm driving past and I'm like, oh, damn, that's Texas Roadhouse. That's what she was talking about. So now I'm like, okay, let me start trying these places. Because I was going to different restaurants and stuff, but I wasn't trying all these different fast food places.
Yeah.
Because I looked at them as, oh, that's another McDonald's. That's another Burger King. Why go there? But not knowing that Five Guys is better than them. Five Guys is better than exactly.
I love Five Guys.
Yeah, so now I'm discovering that and I'm going into that avenue. Gotcha. People like it, so I don't have a problem with it. I like to try it anyway. So
I love it. Okay. And now that you're back, you said that you were out on a Wednesday. You had a job on a Sunday.
Yeah, I was doing security at first when I first came.
Okay, so what was readjustment like? I know now you're in a new relationship. Yeah. You met her after, or was it during?
I met her on Facebook dating.
Facebook dating app.
Yeah.
Are you like done with kids? You want more kids? I know you have one son. Or do you want more? Or
well, at this point in time, I'm done with kids.
Done with kids. Okay.
At this point in time, I'm done with kids.
Gotcha. Okay, so like readjusting has been like with work has been good and relationships, and you guys are just like exploring. What is that like now?
Yeah, everything is like moving at a steady pace right now.
Okay.
I'm moving at a steady pace. Like I said, I've been working steadily. I got a different job now as opposed to what I initially had when I
Mm-hmm.
came out, because the security thing started getting a little shaky. So
Mm.
I deliver car parts, and
Okay.
I'm doing that. I'm doing that. I'm looking into, like, learning. AI is like the thing that I'm trying to really delve into right now. Like, I just
Mm-hmm.
bought a MacBook Air to to learn how to make content. But
Okay.
With the AI, I'm looking for the best AI app to use.
Yeah,
I'm
that's definitely
torn
different.
between like Kling, Luna. I'm looking into all of that stuff
All
right
that's
now.
okay. So you want to get more interested. You're
Exactly.
interested in AI.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. And was it difficult? So now, because TikTok, you see, social media can be a career. People are making money off this where
Exactly.
they're
Exactly.
successful and happy. Um, with work, did you find it hard to find a job? After like with being prior like an inmate, like was it difficult to
No,
find a
because I
job?
actually had I had
More
a nice,
stable
I
one.
had a hookup when I
Okay, so
came
you had a
out.
hookup. Okay.
Yeah, I had a guy that he was in the feds. He was starting a
Mm,
security company, and he sent me to somebody, and I started. He liked my work ethic. I was
love that.
always on call, because when I first came out, like, it was just me. Like,
Hmm.
I didn't start dating immediately when I got out.
Okay.
So I was working 7 days a week if I had to, and
Mm,
so on and so forth. And then,
gotcha.
I just really got back into it. But I was working, like, since I got out, like,
Good. Yeah.
nonstop.
Good. Yeah, because I know like for some people that's not like the reality.
I know.
Yeah, because I have a cousin that was incarcerated, and I know he could not find work, so he tried going like a different path and rapping, and he got caught back up into that
Hmm.
life again, and he's now back. But
He could
yeah,
have,
to
like, what I would have did was, well, USP Atlanta I had my own forklifting license.
okay,
I would have tried to jump
gotcha.
into that.
Yeah.
Um, or I would have tried to learn. It depends if you come out, if something quick, like, say, take welding classes
Mm,
and then go through welding,
true.
construction. Usually doesn't have a problem if you have a felony conviction,
Mm-hmm.
truck driving, get your CDL. Like, a lot of dudes get their CDLs.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah,
Yeah,
and that's a like
yeah,
you're. It
yeah.
doesn't matter if you have a record.
Yeah, because they really need
Okay.
drivers. Like, drivers are
Gotcha.
needed. Like, where the company where I'm at, we're supposed to have 18 drivers. We
Mm-hmm.
just got our 11th one,
Gotcha.
and then people be getting fired, so on and so forth. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that. Like, people don't like to work now. Like,
Yeah, I think the also issue is that like depending on what you got locked up for,
yeah,
if you're addicted or you only know fast money, it's
exactly,
hard for you to get back and like
exactly.
I don't think it's okay because like you said, some
Yeah,
people just don't want to work. I'm like, you need to make a
yeah,
living, and
exactly.
if you want, unless you want to go back to jail, but
Yeah,
yeah, that's what they struggle with because they're like, well, I was making this much money before, like now I got to come back and make regular money, or a lot of the jobs that they could get is not as much as stable income. So I can see that, but no, I get exactly what you mean. Like it's just.
exactly. Or if you pay attention too much to social media,
And what
and you
people are
think
doing.
everybody's rich. You
It's
think
very easy to think.
yeah, because they think everybody's rich, so
Yes.
because everybody gives that image,
Yes.
everybody gives that
It's a
image. So
facade.
yeah, exactly.
What is one piece of advice you would give to your younger self, or yeah, just your younger self? I was going to say the person prior to getting arrested, but you were incarcerated for a while. So
Mm.
what is a piece of advice you'd give to him now if you can see where you are today?
Well, piece of advice I would give my younger self. How young?
Let's say when you first got kicked out of your mother's house.
Mm, I would have told him leave New York.
Mm,
I would have told him to leave New York, and I would have told him it's not his fault, because for a long time I suffered the molestation as if it was my fault
mm,
because of the way he drilled that into me. And I would have told him to leave New York and start your life over.
amen.
Tell him everything's gonna be all right.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
love that.
yeah.
Wow. Well, thank you so much for sharing your story.
Hmm.
I know you have a novel out.
Oh yeah,
Um,
Dark Soul. It's been out. It's
yes.
been out for a minute. It's a
Perfect.
superhero novel.
Okay.
I really want to go back and re-edit the entire book because I wrote it from a pedantic perspective.
Okay.
So it uses a lot of big words.
Okay.
So
Cool.
I wanted to tone it down.
I don't know. People need to up their vocabulary.
Yeah.
Maybe the big words would help.
Yeah.
So
It's Dark Soul by L. Brooks. It's on
okay.
Amazon.
Amazon. Okay.
And then I got music out under 93 Love
Yeah.
on all platforms. Yeah.
I actually was listening to some of your songs. They're actually good.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
not, I'll tell you that much. I'm
Okay.
honest.
Okay.
It actually is good. It's catchy. And my dad's like, he loves old school and it gives
Yeah.
that old school vibe. I'm
Yes,
like,
yes.
I can definitely
That I
see
know.
him listening
Yeah,
to
that I
it.
know. Yeah.
It's good. Okay. And what are some social media platforms that people can find you on if they want to hear more of your story?
True_93 Love. For TikTok. I'm on Facebook as Love Brooks. That's my name. That's who I am. And then I have a YouTube, Big Freaking Reality. That's my channel.
Oh,
And I want to start doing posts there.
yeah.
Longer posts as far as like podcasts, talking about the stuff that was happening in
For
Pollock
sure.
and so on. Because I got a million stories.
Oh, I mean, I want to know
got a
more.
million
I'm like
stories
sitting
for
here.
Pollock. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, we can sit here for hours. I'm like,
yeah.
no, because I think for sure, I always tell people
Yeah.
utilize YouTube. That's like, people will just sit and like listen.
Yes.
They just want to hear the like washing dishes, watching TV. They just want to listen and hear your story. And it can literally change so many lives just from hearing this one predicament that you were in and like what they want to avoid.
See, that's what I want to promote. Change is not impossible.
Yes.
That's me enjoying my freedom.
Amen. I love
That's
it.
what I like to push because
Yeah.
I don't like how people still be pushing, oh, the street code and so on.
Yeah.
There's no such thing. The street code is a myth.
Mm.
The street code is a myth. The streets are not going to be there for you once the ball drops.
Yeah.
When you're sitting in prison and you start losing family members, like my co-defendant, he lost his mother, his father, his sister, one of his brothers, and it just broke him. And like I say, he killed himself.
Wow.
They don't talk about that. They don't talk about that. You lose people while you're in prison, and you're trying to convince yourself that that's a life, but it's not.
Yeah. And do you feel as if prison defines you as a person, or how do you feel if people try and make it seem that way?
No, I won't. I don't allow
Yeah.
prison to define me as a person.
Amen.
If I run into somebody that wants to view me in that spectrum, then I'll get them out of my circumference.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. I love that. Well, thank you so much, Love, for sharing a bit of your story today. I'm sure people will want to know so much more. So I will be sure to link everything down below.
Okay.
And people will see it on screen as well.
All right.
So yeah, thank you so much. And thank you everybody for watching this episode of the Decision Podcast. Please be sure to follow us on all our social media channels. It'll all be linked down below. And we will see you in the next episode. Bye, guys.